Chosen One, October 12th. The time has arrived. Listen, the arrival of October 12th carries more weight than a date on the calendar. It is a divine marker, a spiritual signal in the atmosphere, a precise and intentional moment where God has chosen to draw back the veil and release what has been prepared behind it. Chosen One, this is not just another day. It is the time long whispered into your heart, the time that felt both near and far, the time that has always existed in the spiritual blueprint of your journey, waiting to manifest itself when the world would least expect, and when you would most need it. Watch this video until the end, Chosen One, because today is charged with the energy of a fulfilled promise. And write your warmest wishes in the comments, and let the number 777 accompany them. This isn't just about affirmations, this is about energy alignment. When you comment your wishes, you're contributing to the expansion of collective faith. You're adding your voice to a divine ripple effect. Now, Chosen One, press the hype button under the video and like this video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the channel, and let's begin. You may not have known it before, but every delay, every moment of waiting, every detour that felt like it was taking you further from your destiny was actually leading you right here, right to this point, right to the doorstep of a shift you cannot fully understand, but that your spirit has been anticipating. October 12th has arrived, and with it, the door opens. Behind that door is what has been prepared for you in the quiet. It is the unveiling of what God spoke over your life, before you were even aware of your identity as the Chosen One. This moment isn't about trying harder or pushing more. This moment is about realization. It's about divine timing. The kind of timing that cannot be forced or manipulated. The kind that only the Creator of time itself can activate. And when God activates something, no man, no system, no force of opposition can stand in the way of what's being set in motion. You are stepping into what was already finished spiritually, now becoming visible in the natural. That's why it feels heavy. That's why it feels intense. Because the time is no longer coming. It has come. October 12th is the delivery point. It is the moment of release for what has been divinely stored. And it's not random. It's not an accident. It's not by luck or by coincidence. It's God's orchestration. It's the answer to silent prayers, to unseen sacrifices, and to the private perseverance that no one else acknowledged, but heaven recorded. God has been preparing you for this day even when you thought you were being delayed. Every disappointment built a deeper foundation. Every closed door taught you how to listen more carefully for the next divine knock. Every heartbreak refined your heart to carry more compassion, more discernment, more fire. You are not the same version of yourself that entered this year. And because of that, what's arriving for you on October 12th is not the same as anything you've received before. This is not a repeat blessing. This is not a recycled opportunity. This is not just another win. This is a first-of-its-kind release. This is what only you could carry, what only you could birth, what only you were chosen to receive. Because your time has arrived, the barriers that once held you back no longer hold legal rights over your next step. The spiritual permission has been granted. The heavenly alignment has been secured. The evidence is about to touch the surface of your life. The things that didn't make sense before, the patterns, the pauses, the pruning, they all had a role to play. And now, they all point here. October 12th, the confirmation in the timeline of the divine. This date is not a suggestion. It is a declaration. It is stamped with purpose, and it is the kind of stamp that no earthly authority can override. In this moment, something sacred is unfolding. It's the kind of change that cannot be reversed, the kind that reshapes not just your external conditions, but the narrative surrounding your name. People will wonder why things are suddenly working for you. They'll try to rationalize your rapid shift. But you will know, this is not sudden. This is not overnight. This is the harvest from years of sowing when it felt like nothing would grow. October 12th brings what has been growing in the spiritual realm to full maturity. It is the day the clouds part, the day the oil flows, the day when silence breaks and announcements are made, not by your mouth, but by your becoming. You won't have to prove your arrival. You will be the proof. God is not just placing something in your hand. He's placing something on your life. This isn't just provision. This is positioning. You are being positioned to represent what faith looks like when it wins, what obedience looks like when it's rewarded, what humility looks like when it's finally crowned. There is no going back to the former way of thinking. There is no return to smaller visions. October 12th marks the departure from delay and the arrival into destiny. You will feel it, not just in circumstances, but in your spirit. A divine surge, a knowing that surpasses logic, an internal shift so strong that even external resistance cannot drown it out. Heaven has been waiting for this day as much as you have, because God loves completion, and this date signifies a completed cycle, a fulfilled promise, a delivery of long-held dreams wrapped in divine timing. Chosen one, this is the kind of moment that changes everything without warning. And yet, it's not a surprise to your spirit. It feels familiar because you've always known this time was coming. You've stepped over the invisible line between waiting and walking. No longer are you in the phase of hoping something happens. Now, you are in the phase of witnessing what happens when God says, now. And when God says now, it doesn't come as a whisper. It doesn't creep in quietly. It arrives with undeniable presence. That's what October 12th holds, a presence that announces itself, a spiritual shift that walks ahead of you and prepares everything in advance. And it is not just showing up for one area of your life. It's targeting everything that needed divine attention, the areas that you almost gave up on, the relationships you silently grieved, the finances that drained you, the promises you dared not speak about anymore, for fear they'd never come to pass. October 12th stretches its hand over all of it, not to patch up what was broken, but to completely renew it. You see, God doesn't do partial restoration. He doesn't deal in pieces. When He restores, He makes it whole. When He moves, He doesn't need your logic. He needs your faith. And because your faith remained alive, even if only barely flickering at times, heaven has responded. And now, what was once a flicker is being met with a divine flame. Everything that's being revealed now has been ready behind the scenes for a long time. The only thing that was waiting was the divine appointment. And that appointment, chosen one, was scheduled for this very day. There were days you thought you were late, days you believed you missed your opportunity. But God, He was not rushed. He was not shaken. He was not operating on your human timeline. He was building something so specific, so intricately designed, so undeniably yours that it required the fullness of time. This fullness of time doesn't come to the impatient. It comes to the prepared. And even in moments when you didn't feel prepared, heaven was still making sure you'd be ready to carry what's being delivered. That's what October 12th symbolizes, not just receiving something, but being able to hold it, to protect it, to nurture it, to expand it, and to honor it, knowing what it cost to reach this point. Because this moment cost you something. It cost you time, tears, trust in the unseen. It cost you relationships. It cost you comfort. It cost you answers you thought you needed. But that cost wasn't wasted. It was an investment in this very hour. It was the exchange required to unlock what could never be earned, only graced. October 12th is a grace date, a day so soaked in divine favor that even your enemies will have to stop and take notice. Not because you shouted louder, not because you fought harder, but because God's hand lifted you in plain sight. And no one can question a lifting like that. It's the kind of elevation that doesn't need permission. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't even need explanation. It simply is. There's a force behind you now that cannot be reversed. This is not a hype moment. This is not wishful thinking. This is activation. It's what your spirit was made for. You were never meant to blend in, never meant to merely survive. You were built for this, for the turning of tides, for the reversal of misfortune, for the dawning of a promise too weighty for anyone else to carry. You were not left out. You were hidden. And now you are being unhidden, not by force, but by divine necessity. Your emergence is not about ego. It's about alignment. The world needs what you carry. It's been prepared to receive what you bring. That's why you couldn't come early. That's why it took so long. The environment had to be shaped. The energy had to be cleansed. The stage had to be cleared. And your soul had to be stretched. Now, everything that tried to stop you serves as confirmation that you were worth stopping. Everything that tried to delay you testifies that something great was on the way. Everything that broke you has become the very ingredient that makes your arrival more potent. And October 12th is when the curtain is pulled back, not on your potential, but on your reality, not on your hopes, but on your harvest. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for it. You don't need to justify how it happened. The same God who started the journey is the one who will defend the outcome. You've suffered in silence. Now you're being rewarded in clarity. You've fought battles no one saw. Now your peace will be just as visible. You've carried heavy things alone. Now the reward is being carried to you. Yes, the time has arrived. But it's not just any time. It's your time. It's the hour that heaven circled long ago and whispered into your bones even when you didn't have words for it. That internal knowing that wouldn't die. That strange hope that refused to be buried. That irrational sense that something more was always meant for you. This is that. This is the fulfillment of what your spirit always held on to. And in this time, things move quickly, suddenly, without warning. Because when the divine clock strikes, there is no delay. There is no resistance that can hold it back. The divine current takes over and sweeps through everything, bringing order, bringing movement, bringing miracles. Chosen one, you are in the current now. Don't try to swim against it. Flow with it. Move with the rhythm of the divine. Let it carry you. Let it show you what has already been decided. This is a time when doors open without knocking, when messages arrive without asking, when answers unfold without needing questions, when God takes over the timeline and pulls you into acceleration. You were never behind. You were always being timed. And that timing was perfect, even when it felt like everything was breaking. Now, what looked like the breaking was really the birthing. What felt like endings were really entrances. What looked like silence was sacred strategy. And October 12th is not just the day it all changes. It's the day it reveals what was always meant to be. You don't have to chase anymore. The blessing is already tracking you. The energy has been called. The heavens have moved. The scroll has been opened. The words have been spoken. And God Himself is watching over every detail to make sure nothing is lost in delivery. So, breathe deeper. Stand taller. Walk bolder. You are not standing in potential. You are standing in prophecy fulfilled. And you didn't just survive to reach this point. You were appointed to rise in this moment. You were born for this alignment. You were wired for this wonder. You were shaped for this shift. And chosen one, this is only the beginning. There is a stillness in the air today, but it's not empty. It's sacred. It's the kind of stillness that precedes miracles. It's the hush that heaven holds when something weighty is being released on earth. On October 12th, that stillness surrounds you, not because nothing is happening, but because everything is. The gears of God's plans are moving in silence. The fulfillment is unfolding quietly, without disruption, without drama, without noise. Because divine things don't need noise to be powerful. And in that quiet, you are being marked. In that quiet, you are being wrapped in light. In that quiet, you are being lifted into alignment. You don't have to announce this transition to anyone. The ones who need to know will see it. Your new reality won't require explanation. It will be undeniable. Your walk will carry a frequency. Your eyes will carry a message. Your presence will confirm what your voice never needed to say. October 12th is heaven's confirmation. The confirmation of your next phase. The confirmation of your calling. The confirmation of your transformation. This is not a test. It's a transfer. A spiritual handing over of what belongs to you, and nothing can intercept what God has set apart. There are blessings that have your name on them, and this date has unlocked the vault. The vault wasn't closed because you were denied. It was closed because the weight of what was inside required maturity to carry. You had to be refined, not punished, but purified. Not rejected, but redirected. You had to be emptied so that the blessing wouldn't crush what was unhealed inside of you. And now, you are ready. Not because you're perfect, but because you're positioned. This positioning is not about geography. It's not about being in the right place physically. It's about being in alignment spiritually. It's about the synchronization of your heart, your intentions, your faith, and your identity. That's what has been shifting in you, and now that your spirit has arrived, your reality is catching up. And it's doing so fast. This moment is moving faster than time. It's moving at the speed of obedience, the speed of destiny, the speed of God's will being manifested in the open. And you, chosen one, are not watching from the sidelines. You are the centerpiece of this shift. It's not happening to you. It's happening through you. You are the evidence of what happens when favor meets preparation. When pain becomes purpose. When isolation turns into revelation. Yes, there were seasons where it seemed like everything you touched slipped through your fingers. But you weren't cursed. You were being preserved. God didn't let it stick then, because what you were meant to hold now needed both hands free. That's why the things that once felt like losses now reveal themselves as strategy. You weren't being denied. You were being secured. And now the seal has been broken. October 12th is the date heaven picked for the manifestation of what was hidden. This is what the prayers prepared you for. This is what the loneliness shaped you for. This is what the late nights and unanswered questions led you toward. Not one moment of confusion was wasted. Not one tear was unseen. Not one sigh went unheard. Because while you were grieving what didn't work, God was building what would. While you were releasing what couldn't stay, He was creating what would never leave. And now the balance shifts. The page turns. The light flips on. And what once was fog becomes clarity. What once was tension becomes power. What once was fatigue becomes fire. You will walk into rooms you never imagined, not because you chased them, but because they were written in your script from the beginning. You will hear your name in places you never entered, not because of manipulation, but because favor knows how to speak. You will hold things in your hands that others swore you'd never touch, not to prove them wrong, but to prove that God was right all along. And when it comes, you won't flinch. You won't question if you deserve it. You won't hesitate, because something in your spirit already knows. This is the day the Lord has made specifically for me. October 12th didn't just happen. It was designed. It's been vibrating in the background of your life for years. And now you're standing inside of the manifestation of what once felt like a far-off prophecy. That prophecy is now tangible.